Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Big show today, the New Year's Eve show. Today we're going to recap yesterday's NHL, NBA, college basketball, college football bowls, and look ahead to the weekend's games, including NFL Week 17, news and notes, and then best bet and Fab 5. We're going to be quick. We'll start with the NHL today. It's because of how I want this show to work. Just want to work our way from I hate to say least important, but the most important stuff last, which is football. So I'll start with hockey today just to change it up. Panthers over the Lightning 9-3. Blue Jackets over the Preds 4-3 in a shootout. Hurricanes over the Habs 4-0. Isles over the Sabres 4-1. Flames over the Kraken 6-4. Kings over the Canucks 2-1 in the shootout. And the Sharks over the Flyers 3-2 in overtime on a game winner by Thomas Hertl. Now we look ahead to the games today. 1 o'clock, you have the Oilers and the Devils from Prudential Center. And Edmonton's minus 156, Devils plus 130, over under 6. Overs minus 128, unders plus 104. Oilers minus 1/2 is plus 160. Devils plus 1/2 is minus 200. This is a tough one, but I'm going to go with the over at a very juiced number. Actually, no. Take that back, guys. I don't like changing picks on the fly, but Edmonton in regulation, even money. I didn't even think of it. That's a good one. 3 o'clock, the Ducks at the Golden Knights. Vegas minus 192, Ducks plus 158, over under 6. Overs minus 112, unders minus 108. Ducks plus 1/2 is minus 170. Vegas minus 1/2 is plus 138. This game, I am going to pick... I'm actually kind of undecided here. Let's do the... I hate it, but I'm going to go over 6 minus 112. 7 o'clock, Rangers Lightning. Lightning minus 142, Rangers plus 118, over under 6, minus 110 each way. Rangers plus 1/2 is minus 225. Lightning minus 1/2 is plus 180. I would say under 6, low scoring game. Don't feel great about it. And then 7:30, the Capitals and the Red Wings. Caps minus 156, Detroit plus 130, over under 6. Overs minus 102, unders minus 120. Capitals minus 1/2 is plus 172. Detroit plus 1/2 is minus 215. I'm going to go with the Red Wings here as a home dog at plus 130 to close out 2021 here. Penn Senators, Avs, Stars, and Jets, Flames all postponed today. All right, we'll look ahead to the weekend now. Saturday, 1 o'clock. Sabres, Bruins, Canadiens, Panthers, Hurricanes, Blue Jackets. 2 o'clock, Oilers, Islanders, Blackhawks, Predators. 7 o'clock, Senators, Maple Leafs. I'm fascinated to see if that game's still on. But the case for it still being on, that it's in-country travel there. And then the Winter Classic, 7 o'clock TNT at night, the Blues and the Wild from Target Field. So it should be a fun game at the Winter Classic. I'm going to say Minnesota wins. I think Minnesota is really good. They're home here. A lot of Wild fans are going to show up for this. The Blues have been in a lot of big games before, too, like this. I think they've been in a Winter Classic or two. But I'm going with the Wild at home in that one. And then 10 o'clock, the Canucks at the Kraken and the Flyers at the Kings at 10:30. Sunday, 12:30, the Lightning at the Rangers from the Garden. 1 o'clock, the Bruins at the Red Wings. Sharks, Penguins. 3 o'clock, Devils, Capitals, Ducks, Avalanche. 4 o'clock, Jets, Golden Knights. 7 o'clock, Flames, Blackhawks. And then Stars, Coyotes is postponed. NBA time, we will recap the games from last night, and we will look ahead to today and the weekend. 76ers over the Nets, 110-102. Bucks over the Magic, 136-118. Wiz over the Cavs, 110-93. Warriors Nuggets postponed because the Nuggets were undermanned. Or was it the Warriors that were undermanned? I think it was Denver. Wait, someone was undermanned. I want to say it might have been actually Golden State. Now we look ahead to a busy day today. 1 o'clock, the Suns and the Celtics. My projection is Phoenix by 13.25. And it is 4.5 and 214.5. I'm laying that with the Suns. That is a layup. An absolute layup. 3 o'clock, the Bulls and the Pacers. My projection is Bulls by 6. And it's 5 and 222. I'm going to take the under. There's still a lot of guys out for either side. 6 o'clock, the Mavericks and the Kings from Sacramento. My projection is Sacramento by 6 3/4, and it's Sacramento by 1, total 217.5. I love Sacramento minus the 1. Love it. 7 o'clock, the Heat and the Rockets. My projection is Heat by 6 3/4, and it's 3.5 and 217.5. I'm going to lay to 3.5 of the Heat. Jimmy Butler can win this game by himself. 7:30, the Hawks at the Cavaliers. My projection is the Cavs by 3. And it's Cavs by 1, total 215.5. I'll lay the 1 with Cleveland. Clippers, Raptors. My projection is Toronto by 6 3/4. So it looks like a lot of people are coming back for Toronto, so that's good news. And it's 7 and 210.5. I'll take the under because of all the absentees on the Clippers. 8 o'clock, the Spurs and the Grizzlies. My projection is the Grizzlies by 13. And it's 6 and 225.5. I'll lay to 6 with Memphis. Knicks, Thunder. My projection is New York by 3. And it is 5.5 and 205.5. I'll take the Thunder getting the 5.5. The Knicks are missing Julius Randle and Derrick Rose. And I think the Thunder can win outright. They're plus 190. 9 o'clock, the Timberwolves and the Jazz. My projection is Utah by 23. And it's 10.5 and 222.5. I'm going to lay to 10.5 with Utah. And 10:30 NBA TV, the Trailblazers and the Lakers. My projection is the Lakers by 11.25. And it's 5.5 and 229.5. I'll lay to 5.5 with LA. All right, Saturday, 6:30 NBA TV. Pelicans, Bucks, 7 o'clock Spurs, Pistons, Bulls, Wizards, 7:30 Clippers, Nets. 8 o'clock Nuggets, Rockets, and 9 o'clock NBA TV, Warriors, Jazz. Sunday, 3:30 Knicks, Raptors, 6 o'clock Magic, Celtics, NBA TV, Pacers, Cavs, Heat, Kings, 7 o'clock Suns, Hornets, Mavs, Thunder, and 9:30 the Timberwolves against the Lakers. All right, now we'll do college basketball. We will recap the games from yesterday, and we'll look ahead to today and the weekend. I wanted to do line projections for the games this weekend, but I just didn't have the time to do it. Plus, because of all the postponements and stuff, we'll wait a week to do that. All right, last night's results. McNeese over Ecclesia, 115-66. Missouri State over Evangel, 103-56. Rutgers over Maine, 80-64. Stetson over Point, 77-65. Louisiana over App State, 71-55. Cleveland State over Purdue, Fort Wayne, 90-81. Presbyterian over Truett, 91-49. Old Dominion over FIU, 82-77. Yeah, Truett McConnell was the name of that school. UCF over Michigan, 81-71, or 85-71. Maryland over Brown, 81-67. Kennesaw State over Toccoa Falls, 108-51. Oakland over Robert Morris, 79-61. Rice over Milwaukee, 86-75. Northern Kentucky over Green Bay, 79-74. Coastal Carolina over Yale Monroe, 94-64. Fordham over LaSalle, 69-61. St. Joe's over Richmond, 83-56. Chattanooga over Eastern Tennessee State, 82-52. UAB over UTEP, 75-62. Sam Houston over Lamar, 75-64. Little Rock over Georgia Southern, 78-66. Lipscomb over Alabama A&M, 66-63. Murray State over Southeast Missouri State, 106-81. Grand Canyon over Chicago State, 80-63. Abilene Christian over Utah Valley, 80-76. Troy over Texas State, 78-63. Texas Arlington over South Alabama, 89-87 in overtime. Oral Roberts over Denver, 83-66. South Dakota State over North Dakota State, 90-86. Tennessee Martin over Austin Peay, 65-62. Oregon State over Utah, 88-76. Louisiana Tech over Marshall, 79-56. Southern Utah over Sac State, 64-51. Weber State over Montana State, 85-75. Montana over Idaho State, 78-54. Tarleton over Dixie State, 83-69. UC San Diego over UC Santa Barbara, 85-83 in overtime. Eastern Washington over Portland State, 63-58. Cal State Fullerton over Cal State Bakersfield, 73-67. The following games may have either been canceled or postponed. Columbia International, SC State, or SC Upstate. Mid-Georgia State, Jacksonville State, St. Bonaventure, George Washington, UTSA, Middle Tennessee, Prairie View Northwestern, Howard Hampton, Longwood, Maryland Eastern, Charlotte FAU, Florida National, North Florida, Youngstown State, Detroit Mercy, St. Louis UMass, George Mason VCU, Dayton, Rhode Island, Duquesne Davidson, Trinity, Texas, Incarnate Word, Texas Rio Grande, Stephen F. Austin, Western Kentucky, Southern Miss, Idaho, Northern Arizona, Georgia State, Arkansas State, Omaha, UMKC, South Dakota, North Dakota, Penn Tech, Penn State, Belmont, SAU, Edwardsville, number 9, Arizona, number 5, UCLA. That was have been a fun game. Number 4, Gonzaga, San Diego, Cal State, Northridge, UC Irvine, Long Beach State, Cal Poly, Mexico State, Seattle, Santa Clara Pacific, Arizona State, number 7, USC, Colorado, Oregon, and UC Davis, Hawaii. Small slate for today. We have a forfeit in the NEC, Wagner over St. Mary's. So that game will not happen. 12 o'clock, High Point, Kentucky. My projection for this game is Kentucky by 32.25. And this game is Kentucky, 27.5, total 136.5. I'm going to lay the points with Kentucky. Hofstra, Elon. My projection is Hofstra by 4.25. Then 6.5 and 148.5. I have enough wiggle room to bet on Elon here, plus the 6.5 and minus 104. 1 o'clock, Eastern University, Penn, Conference Winthrop, Sul Ross, A&M, Corpus Christi. We can skip all those. Sacred Heart and Bryant. My projection is Bryant by 10.5. And it's 7, 150.5. I'll lay to 7 with Bryant. Boyce Liberty, Champion Christian, Champion Christian in Central Arkansas. We can skip. Same with Belhaven at New Orleans at 2 o'clock. LIU, Merrimack. My projection is Merrimack by 3 3/4. And it's 3.5 and 129.5. I'll take the under. I think that's a lower scoring game. Northeastern, William and Mary. My projection is Northeastern by 14.5. And it's 8.5 and 126.5. I'll lay the points with Northeastern. Delaware, Charleston. My projection is Delaware by 4.5. And it's Charleston by 3 total 153.5. I'm taking Delaware plus the 3 and plus 132 straight up. Niagara and Quinnipiac. My projection is Quinnipiac by 7.25. And it's 1.5 and 134.5. I'll lay the points with Quinnipiac. Alice Lloyd, Eastern Kentucky. We can skip. 2 more left. 4 o'clock, Fairleigh Dickinson in St. Francis, PA. My projection is St. Fran, PA by 3 3/4. And let's see here. It is 10 and 148.5. Let's take Fairleigh Dickinson getting all those points. And then last but not least, Central Con and St. Francis, Brooklyn. My projection is St. Fran, Brooklyn by 6 3/4. And it's 5.5 and 136.5. I'll take the under. Alrighty, now I'm going to look at the weekend slate. All right, New Year's Day, big day. A lot of conference play. 12 o'clock, ESPNU, West Virginia, number 17, Texas. CBS, Memphis, Wichita State. East Carolina, South Florida. Fox Sports 1, Creighton, Marquette. St. John's, Georgetown, postponed. 1 o'clock, Bucknell BU. Furman VMI. ESPNU. Great game. Number 1 Baylor. Number 8 Iowa State. I almost said Ohio State. That would have been fun too, but what a great game. Prove-it game for Iowa State. 2 o'clock, number 22 Villanova, number 15 Seton Hall. Loyola Maryland Army. Navy Holy Cross. Western Kentucky, Louisiana Tech on CBS Sports Network. Milwaukee, Northern Kentucky. Green Bay, Wright State. Louisiana, Coastal Carolina. Buffalo, Akron. Toledo, Kent State. Colgate, Lafayette. UTEP, Middle Tennessee. Charlotte, FAUL postponed. Purdue, Fort Wayne, IUPUI canceled. South Dakota, North Dakota State canceled. Chattanooga, Mercer. Buffalo, Eastern Michigan postponed. 3 o'clock on Fox. Number 21 Providence at DePaul. UTSA, UAB. Idaho State, Montana State, Lamar State at Austin, Youngstown State, Oakland, Troy, UT Arlington, Western Illinois, St. Thomas, Citadel, Stanford, Arizona State at number 5, UCLA postponed, Marshall Southern Miss postponed, Robert Morris, Detroit Mercy canceled, 3:30 ESPN 3, Central Michigan and Miami of Ohio, Ohio Western Michigan, 4 o'clock Long Beach State and Cal State Bakersfield, Lehigh American, Tennessee State, Morehead State, Old Dominion FAU, Eastern Washington, Northern Arizona, Tarleton, Utah Valley, Florida State, NC State, UL Monroe, App State, San Diego State, UNLV, CBS Sports Network at 4 o'clock, Boise State and Wyoming, Air Force, Fresno State, Oklahoma State, number 25, Texas Tech postponed, Butler, UConn, Pitt, Va-Tech postponed, Western Carolina, East Tennessee State postponed, Georgia State, Little Rock, and Cleveland State, UIC both canceled, 4:30 Belmont, Eastern Illinois, Everett, Radford, SIU, Edwardsville, and Tennessee Martin postponed. 5 o'clock, George Mason at number 6, Kansas. Central Connecticut at Rutgers. Austin Peay, Southeast Missouri State. South Alabama, Texas State. Georgia Southern, Arkansas State. Wofford, UNC Greensboro. San Diego, Santa Clara postponed. 6 o'clock, Rice, North Texas. Chicago State, New Mexico State. ESPNU, Wake, Miami. ACC Network, Virginia, Syracuse. Bowling Green, Ball State. Number 2, Duke and Notre Dame postponed. Tulane, Cincinnati at 7 o'clock. Number 4, Gonzaga, Loyola Marymount postponed. 8 o'clock, San Francisco, St. Mary's. ESPNU, Kansas State, Oklahoma. Omaha, Oral Roberts. 10, Tech, Murray State. Colorado, Oregon State. And Pepperdine, Pacific postponed. Denver, UMKC, and South Dakota State, North Dakota canceled. 9 o'clock, UC Santa Barbara, UC Irvine. Northern Colorado, Southern Utah, Weber State, Montana, Abilene Christian, Dixie State, 9 o'clock Fox Sports 1, New Mexico, Nevada, San Jose State, Utah State postponed, 10 o'clock, Cal State, Northridge, UC San Diego, Cal State, Fullerton, Cal Poly, canceled, Idaho State, Portland State, Seattle, Cal Baptist, BYU, Portland, all postponed, and 10:30 on the Pac-12 Network, Utah, Oregon, UC Riverside, Hawaii, canceled. Sunday, 12 o'clock, UNC BC, CBS Sports Network, St. Bonaventure, Dayton, 1 o'clock, Bradley, Indiana State, Ryder, Quinnipiac, UMBC, New Hampshire, George Washington, St. John's, Iowa, Fairfield, all postponed. 2 o'clock, Big Ten Network, number 10, Michigan State, Northwestern, Greensboro, SC State, Emory and Henry, Coastal Carolina, ESPNU, UCF, SMU, Princeton, Harvard, Dartmouth, Cornell, Columbia, Yale, Stony Brook, Hartford, UMass Lowell, Binghamton, Maine, NJIT, Jacksonville, Campbell, Illinois State, Valpo, Evansville, Northern Iowa, CBS Sports Network, Richmond, and St. Louis, UMass Fordham, George Mason, Duquesne, St. Peter's, Marist, Niagara, Manhattan, Canisius, Siena, both postponed. 2:30, LaSalle, Rhode Island, Davidson, VCU postponed. 3 o'clock, Toccoa Falls, Charleston Southern, Brown, Penn, Dallas Christian, Incarnate Word, 4 o'clock, Big Ten Network, Indiana, Penn State. 5 o'clock, ESPN, number 12, Houston at Temple. Albany, Vermont, Willow, Chicago, Southern Illinois on ESPN2. That's a nice one. Number 9, Arizona. Number 7, USC postponed. Wow, it's so sad all these monster Pac-12 games are getting postponed, but hopefully you'll still get them at some point. 6 o'clock, ESPNU, Louisville, Georgia Tech. 7 o'clock, Arizona State, Cal. 8 o'clock, Big Ten Network. Number 13, Ohio State, And Drake, Missouri State. All right, now we'll move on to college football bowls. We will recap the games from yesterday, and we'll look ahead to the next 2 days. South Carolina over North Carolina, 38-21 in the Mayo Bowl. South Carolina finishes 7-6, UNC 6-7. Purdue over Tennessee, 48-45 in overtime in the Music City Bowl. Purdue 9-4 finishes that, and then Tennessee finishes 7-6. The Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, number 10 Michigan State over number 12 Pitt, 31-21. Michigan State wins that game late on the pick 6 as they finish 11-2. Pitt finishes 11-3. And number 20, or I'm sorry, not number 20. I'm reading that wrong. Wisconsin over Arizona State, 20-13 in the Las Vegas Bowl. Wisconsin finishes at 9-4. Arizona State at 8-5. Right now we look ahead to a busy day for today. First up, we have the Gator Bowl, 11 o'clock on ESPN. Wake and Rutgers. My projection for this game is Wake by 12.5, total 58-35. Meanwhile, it is 17-63. I'm going to take Rutgers getting all those points. I just think that this will be a closer game than you think. They're going to be excited to be there. And also like the under as a second choice. 12 o'clock, the Sun Bowl. You got on CBS, Washington State and Central Michigan. My projection is Wazoo by 2.5, total 55-85. Meanwhile, it is 6.5 and 56.5. I'm going to take Central Michigan in the points. I like taking back teams in bowl games because I feel like they're happy to be there, unless if it's like a higher team that is disappointed in which bowl that they'll get. So I'm going to take Central Michigan the points. Will they win outright? Potentially. Here we are, the college football playoff, the Cotton Bowl, Cincinnati, Alabama, 1 versus 4 from AT&T Stadium, Jerry World. I project Bama only 2.5, total 59-35. Meanwhile, it's 14-57. I'm going to take the points with Cincinnati. I think that this will be a closer game than people think. They might get the back door. No, I don't think they're going to win. But I think it'll be a lot closer than people think. And I think that this could be a push as well. And the college football playoff, Orange Bowl at Hard Rock Stadium down in Miami. Georgia and Michigan, number 3 against number 2. I project a pick'em in 50.8. Meanwhile, it's Georgia 7.5, total 45.5. I love Michigan. Love them. I just don't like what I saw from Georgia at the end of the year, and I love what I've seen from Michigan. I'm going to take Michigan the points. I'm going to pick them outright, too. I think for the first time in a while, we'll see an underdog win a game outright in the college football playoffs. They're plus 235 to win this game outright. All right, now we move on to New Year's Day. By the way, the 2 playoff games are at 3:30 and at 7:30, respectively. And on New Year's Day, we got 12 o'clock on ESPN2. Penn State at number 21 Arkansas, the Outback Bowl. My projection is Arkansas by 5, total 49.05. Meanwhile, it's 2.5 and 48.5. I'm going to lay the points with that Arkansas. Penn State is missing a ton of guys, a lot of receivers out. Arkansas is missing their lead receiver too. But I think the losses of Penn State will deteriorate them in the spot. So I'm going to lay the points with Arkansas. The Citrus Bowl, 1 o'clock on ESPN. You got Iowa, number 15 Iowa, and number 22 Kentucky on ABC. My projection is Iowa by 2, total 49-45. Meanwhile, it's Kentucky by 3, total of 42 or 44. This is a tough one because I have a nice edge on the dog here and I have a nice edge on the over. A 5 and about 5.5 point edge on the over. And on the other side, a 5-point edge on the dog in Iowa. I'm going to be different and take the over here as the podcast pick. And then Iowa in the money line at plus 154 or plus 126 as a second choice. The Fiesta Bowl, 1 o'clock, ESPN. Number 9, Oklahoma State. Number 5, Notre Dame. I did the other game first because I wanted to do the New Year's Six Bowls last. From State Farm Stadium. Out there in Arizona, my projection is Oklahoma State by 1.5, total 50-85. Meanwhile, it's Notre Dame by 2.5, total 44.5. I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to go with the over as the pick for the game. And I also like Oklahoma State plus the 2.5 and plus 116 to win. Straight up. The Rose Bowl. This should be a good one. Number 11, Utah. Number 6, Ohio State. 5 o'clock, ESPN. My projection is Utah by 3, total 61-2. Meanwhile, it is Ohio State by 4.5, total of 64. I'm taking Utah plus the points and plus 148 straight up. A lot of Ohio State's key guys are not playing. And I think Utah is going to show a lot of pride and effort. And I think they can absolutely win this game. And I also like the under in this game as well as a second choice. And last but not least, the Sugar Bowl. All-State Sugar Bowl from Caesars Superdome between number 7 Baylor and number 8 Ole Miss. My projection here is Baylor by 1.5, total 54.95. Meanwhile, it's Ole Miss by 1.5, total 55.5. I'm going to take Baylor plus the 1.5 and minus 104 straight up. This is the season of the dogs, and that is going to continue here. And I have a slight edge on the under in that game too, but the pick here, Baylor plus 1.5 and minus 104. To beat Ole Miss outright. All right, NFL week number 17. Looking forward to doing these picks. We're just going to do the Sunday games, then we'll save Monday night for Monday. So without further ado, here we go. All right, first up. 1 o'clock on Fox, the Falcons and the Bills. My projection is Buffalo by 8.5, total 45-65. Meanwhile, 14.5 and 44. That is way too high. I think this is the bandwagon, you know? And Buffalo, I know, can win the division here at the win and the Patriots loss, if I'm not mistaken. But 14.5 is way too high. I love the Falcons getting all those points. I don't know why. Like, is Matt Ryan in COVID protocols or something? I don't get why that line is what it is. Like, that is, I think, an underdog I absolutely love. And the Bills are a team that I love betting on. So I don't get that one at all. All right, next up, 1 o'clock on CBS, the Giants and the Bears. My projection is Chicago by 8.5, total 41-7. Meanwhile, it's 5.5 and 37. I'm going to go with the over in this game. I think that both teams' defenses stink. and are based on last year's reputation and players that either overachieved last year and kind of took a step back this year, looking at Giants' Leonard Williams, or guys, it's like Vegas is pretending that there's guys that are still playing, Khalil Mack. So I'm going to take the over in this game, and despite a backup quarterback for the Giants, I think that they could put up something in the teens, and then the Bears put up like more than 20-something points, but then Justin Fields is back too. So, I mean, is there a world where the Bears could do it by themselves with Fields back? Potentially. So I'm going to go over this game. The second choice of laying the points with Chicago. On CBS, the Chiefs and the Bengals. My projection is the Chiefs by 2, total 48.7. Meanwhile, it's the Chiefs by 4.5, total of 51. So, this is a tough one for me to gauge. 2.5 point edge on the Bengals, and a not even 2.5 point edge on the under. And I'm glad about that because I really think that the Bengals can win this game outright. I was hoping I'd get the Bengals as an underdog here. So Bengals plus 4.5 is going to be the pick here. And I also like the under. All right, next up on CBS, Dolphins-Titans. My projection is Tennessee 7, total 43.4. Meanwhile, it is 3.5 and 39.5. I love two sides in this game, the over and the Titans, but the question is, where do I go? Where does Madison go? I'm going to go. I know it's an almost 4-point edge on the over, and the edge on Tennessee is 3.5. So I'm going to go be different and pick the over for this one as well, and then the Titans as a second play. On Fox, Raiders-Colts, my projection is the Colts by 6.5, total 48. Meanwhile, it's 7 and 44.5. I love the over here. I think it's a good spot for the Colts offense to get going. I just think that the Raiders could potentially put up some points as well, depending on who plays. I think Darren Waller's on COVID reserve. That's unfortunate for him. But I like the over in this spot a lot. And I'm surprised how low it is. CBS, Jaguars, Patriots. My projection is the Patriots by a whopping 20.5, total 42.05. It's 16.5 and 41.5. I'm going to lay the points to the Patriots. I know it's a big number, but I just think that this is going to be Mac Jones proving like, hey, maybe I'm the best quarterback in this class, right? So I really do like the Patriots laying the points in this spot. On Fox, Buccaneers, Jets, my projection is Bucks by 15, total 49.3. Meanwhile, it's 13 and 45.5. I like the over. I think this is a spot where the Bucks offense can get rolling a little bit, despite some injuries. I think that Mike Evans could potentially be back in this one. But that would mean adding an extra half point to the projection. But I still think the larger edge would reside on the over in this spot. On Fox, the Eagles and the football team. My projection is the Eagles by 6. Total 47.3. Meanwhile, it's 3.5 and 44.5. I know people are going to be like, oh, this line stinks. This line's disgusting. But, you know what? You can say it all you want, but the Eagles are just a flat-out better football team than the Washington football team right now, who have has not had Ryan Fitzpatrick pretty much the whole year. Taylor Heineke's been fine, but sometimes he puts stinkers up like he did against Dallas until they rallied back. And then against Dallas on the Sunday night game where he threw a complete stink bomb. And that first Dallas game, I was referring to the game in D.C. or in Landover. And I have an edge on the over, too. With almost 3 points. So I'm going to go over with this game, too. And then another, like a second choice of the Eagles. So over's been popular on the show today. Rams-Ravens on Fox. I'm surprised this isn't a 4 o'clock game. My projection is the Rams by 5, total 48-4. Meanwhile, it is 4.5 and 46. Yet another game where I have an edge on the over. And I also have a slight edge on the Rams. 4 o'clock window. CBS, Broncos, Chargers. My projection is LA by 5.5, total 45-9. Meanwhile, it's 6 and 45.5. So the numbers are spot on. Larger edge to the Chargers, so slight, but it's not a big edge, but I have slight edges on the Chargers and the over, but podcast main pick is the Chargers minus 5.5, but it's a slight edge to the Chargers. Texans and the 49ers on CBS. My projection is the 49ers by 15, total 45-3. You know, it's 12.5 and 44. I'm going to lay the points with the 49ers. I think this is a good spot for them. I know Jimmy's not healthy. I get it. But I do think that San Fran will come out and play well and try to lock up that last playoff spot on the last playoff spots in the NFC. On Fox, Joe Buck, Troy Aikman on the call. 4:25, Cardinals, Cowboys. My projection is Dallas by 7, total 48-85. Meanwhile, it's 6 and 51.5. I think that this is actually an under game, believe it or not. I think this is a little bit of an overreaction to the Cowboy offense really just hammering the Washington football team. But the Cardinal defense isn't that bad, guys. It just isn't. And I think that it'll be a lower scoring game than people anticipate. And I think this could be like a 30-20 Cowboys win, and it could still be good. Or 27-20 Cowboys, and it'll still be good. Panthers-Saints. I project the Saints by 1.5, total 41-45. I like that there's a lot of 4 o'clock games this week. Meanwhile, it is 6.5 New Orleans and 38. That's high. Like, come on. I'm taking the Panthers getting the points. And I also like the over, too. But, jeez. They shouldn't be that big of a favorite against anybody, the Saints. Especially with their quarterback situation. Like, come on. And then the Lions and the Seahawks, my projection is Seattle by 9.25, total 41-95. Meanwhile, it's 7 and 42.5. I know the Lions have been playing inspired football a little bit of late, but I think this is a spot for Seattle to come out and play well. Sunday Night Football, Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, will be Michelle Tafoya, Catherine Tappan on the sidelines. My projection is Green Bay by 18, total 48-75, meanwhile 7 and 46. That's ridiculous. I love Green Bay. I think it's ridiculous that my projection's that much too, but the Vikings have so many injuries, and that's why this projection is what it is. And I just think that this is a spot for Green Bay primetime home game where they come out and kick ass. And I know they didn't cover last week and they should have. But I believe they'll cover again. And also have an edge on the over 2. And then Monday night, we'll save for Monday night. All right, now we'll go over the latest news and notes. Not a lot today, but some important stuff. So, the Las Vegas Aces, so Wnba starts news and notes, because this is the biggest story from last night, arguably. They hired Becky Hammon to be their new head coach, making her the WNBA's highest paid head coach, 5-year deal. That is unbelievable. Everybody thought that Becky Hammon was going to be a future NBA coach, the future coach of the San Antonio Spurs. But no, here we are, and she's the coach of the Las Vegas Aces. What a fantastic hire. I think that she's going to do a great job. She has a great team that she's coaching with. And I wonder why she didn't go to the Liberty. I mean, the Liberty has great young talent and whatnot. It's not like they're owned by James Dolan anymore. Like, what feared her away from the Liberty? Is it because it's New York and the pressure would be on her right away? Arguably. But I think there's going to be pressure on her to succeed anywhere she goes, whether it was NBA or the WNBA. But that said, what a great hire for the Las Vegas Aces. And I think that Becky is going to do a phenomenal job there. Flyers center Sean Couturier on injury reserve with an upper body injury. Hall of Fame finalists revealed for the Pro Football Hall of Fame class of 2022, including Andre Johnson, Devin Hester, Patrick Willis, DeMarcus Ware, Sam Mills, Zach Thomas, Jared Allen, Richard Seymour, Bryant Young, Reggie Wayne, Torrey Holt, Rondé Barber, Leroy Butler, Tony Baselli, Willie Anderson. So that's a pretty good class. And I want to see Reggie Wayne get in. I mean, I don't think he's talked about enough. People look at him as a Peyton Manning product. But he was a phenomenal player in the NFL. And that guy was just a winner. I really hope to see him get in. I think he will get in. I think Andre Johnson will get in. So will Willis, so will Hester, so will DeMarcus Ware. I think those 5 guys will definitely get in. And we'll see who else gets in as well. Some NBA rumors, Cavs exploring a trade for Rajon Rondo as they're in serious talks with the Lakers to acquire him. The Heat signed Mario Chalmers to a 10-day contract. So it's a little bit of a reunion of some sorts. Draymond Green blasts COVID rules. As he makes his unhappiness clear on Twitter after the game was postponed at the last minute. Lamar Jackson was absent from practice yesterday after living through 2 days ago's session. So we'll see if he plays or not. If he doesn't play, then this projection with the Ravens and the Rams would go up to Rams 11. So the Rams might actually be a nice pick for the time being. And then the last one, in terms of sports, Jameis Winston throwing after surgery as he's getting in some reps for the first time since his ACL injury in November. And that's really it. There's no non-sports news that I seriously want to get to. But tonight, obviously, is New Year's Rockin' Eve. LL Cool J pulled out because he tested positive. This is always a good show. Every year, Ryan Seacrest. Every year hosts it. So, this edition's supposed to be like the 50th anniversary show, which is great. And it's going to include segments from Distrito T-Mobile in San Juan, hosted by Rosalind Sanchez, including midnight celebrations in the Atlantic time zone. So we're going to see a New Year's celebration before the Eastern time zone, so that's pretty cool. And the performance by Daddy Yankee. And Billy Porter will return as host of the New Orleans segment, and we usually see an LA segment every year. So this is always a fun show. There's always fun guests, and they always talk about memories of the year. Ryan Seacrest is just amazing, and he's like the perfect host for this show. So we'll talk about how New Year's Rockin' Eve went down on Monday's show as well. All right, Best Bet, brought to you by FanDuel. There was one that stood out to me in college football. And that pick is obviously today, and it's in the college football playoff. I'm going to put in 2 units on it, and that's Michigan getting the points against Georgia. And I really think that they have a shot here to win this game outright at plus 235 on the money line. And then the Fab Five for the NFL for the weekend. All right, the first pick is going to be the Falcons getting the 14.5. I just think that is ridiculous that Buffalo's giving this many points after a couple dominant performances. Not like they're like the Mahomes Chiefs, even though they beat the Mahomes Chiefs, but I still have my reserves about the Bills. Next up, I'm going to take the over in the Buccaneers-Jets. Tom Brady loves giving it to the Jets, doesn't he? So I like the over. I think the Bucs can do that by themselves potentially. I love the over in Raiders-Colts. I'm surprised it's that low. I understand no Darren Waller. I just think the Raiders' defense stinks, and I think that the Colts can put up a good number here. I'm going to take over 39.5 in Miami, Tennessee. I think that is ridiculously low, despite no Derrick Henry. And I like how Miami's playing too, and I don't know if their defense is really that for real or not. And how many picks is that? One, two, three, four. But there's one game I actually like a little bit better than the over in but my question is what over to pick. I'm keeping Tampa Jets. I'm going to cash out the Miami Tennessee over, and I'm actually going to change it to Carolina getting the 6.5 against the Saints. I just think that is ridiculous. And then I'm going to lay the 7 with Green Bay, obviously. Green Bay's been my baby. Dallas has been the other baby, but I think that 6 is not a bettable number. Unless that goes down to 5, then I'll bet Dallas. But Dallas and a tease would be very interesting. And then the money line underdog pick of the week to win outright. The funny thing is that I project every team that's favored to win too. So I have a pick in mind, but my question is, if I say I'm saving it for Monday, then it's a giveaway who the underdog moneyline pick of the week is. But I have no choice though, so I'm actually gonna take the Steelers as the underdog pick of the week at plus 150 to knock off the Browns as my underdog pick of the week. But we're gonna say, we guess we'll just do that there and then, and we'll either pick side or total and double down on Monday's show. All right, so that's it for today. I'll be back on Monday recapping everything from the New Year's weekend, and we will look ahead to everything going on Monday. I have a lot of activities planned for next week for the show as well. Hope you guys have a wonderful weekend, everyone, and Happy New Year.